Hello, this is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, October 14th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly swing trade ideas video where we bring you stocks based on specific technical price patterns, all of which we're going to discuss in detail as we look through these stocks. These videos are sponsored by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We curate ideas based on their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we've got lots of stocks we're looking at today, lots of different scans I'm going to show you. I'm going to move pretty quick because we have about 15 or 20 names, most of them on the short side in today's video, and that sort of makes sense, the environment that we've been seeing. If you've been following along with our market analysis videos, Tuesdays and Fridays, we've been discussing basically, longer term bullish activity that's been developing here. In the short term, though, a little bit of a rug pull or some volatility was sort of overdue. So we're getting a little bit of that today. Let's run through. We're going to start with some bullish scans. Remember, these scans, bullish scans, these stocks are going to come from our TR150 watch list and the IBD's universe of lists. So that includes the IBD 50, their IPO lists, and market leader lists, and basically a handful there that sort of curate based on fundamentals, relative strength, and strong technicals. So first name here on our 52-week highs on volume, we like to start here and just always take a look at what's working, what's moving up, breaking out to new 52-week highs on heavy volume. NIO. So this is one here today. Big move, 23%. Look at the volume coming in. We still have several hours left in the trading day. We're already at 3x volume. Gap and go above this very tight pattern here. Beautiful pattern. Textbook. Little tight base over this base here. Great winning, position here. And not a position we own. Great winning trade though, in terms of position in a portfolio, and this has been working pretty nicely here throughout the year. Number two is Grub. Grubhub breaking out to new highs. Again, very similar pattern, gap up today. Volume coming in already above the 21 days, so the 1 month average volume. And this one here breaking to new highs. That is what's working. Now, the only other thing I want to discuss here is this big list down here. Remember, all of our scans are available on our website. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. This scan at the bottom left you're seeing is essentially stocks that are retracing, so they're falling in price, but they are printing some type of divergence, some type of either MACD or RSI divergence as they come back down to or towards lows. So this scan has a lot of stocks in it right now, and actually there's a lot of financials and real estate stocks in this particular scan. So you can see BAC. Again, this isn't necessarily a buy now type of scan. That's certainly not how I would interpret it. It's just something that sort of can help curate some ideas for you. If it gets down to a level, if it starts reversing on a lower time frame, there's a million ways you could sort of trade and apply this type of scan. But I don't really have actually, I have a few names that I sort of picked out from this list. I think ANGI was one. So ANGI, this is one that's hitting this scan here. So again, you've got some type of divergence as this starts to sell off. I like the longer term pattern here. It's in an overall uptrend, intermediate term correction, getting some divergence printed here. That looks interesting. PAK. This one here is a REIT. Same thing. This one's basically gone nowhere since June, like a lot of this space, but it's pulling back here, printing some divergence. And HTA. These were the three that I think looked most interesting to me. If I clean up this old trend line that's been on here, and we take a look at this here, so you can see you got this nice kind of channel it's been kind of falling in, and again, it's a real estate sector. So those are a few ideas there on stocks that are falling with some positive divergence. And now let's move on to some of the bearish setups. So there are a lot today. We're going to look at a few different scans. First, a couple of candlestick patterns. I don't usually show these patterns, but they are pretty popular. I know a lot of people like to look and trade them, either in isolation or with some other criteria. This is our gravestone gravestone candlestick pattern here. So again, you can see if we look at this stock here, it's a pretty classic gravestone sort of candle here. You get a lot of indecision, big tail on the upside. The body's way at the bottom right now. So obviously it depends on how these stocks close. This might not be true if this keeps moving, but there's another one, MC. Again, you can see just again this big tail up top. We got the open and the close very close to one another right now. So you get this gravestone pattern. Those are generally indications of, or historically have been known to mark short-term tops in trends. You've had long runs in both of those stocks. I think those are interesting there if you're a fan of candlesticks. And we have an evening star pattern here as well. This one's pretty popular. They're hard to come by, but basically, you have this big thrust up here. You've got this indecision sort of middle candle here, and then you got the kind of gap down or bearish sort of move on the other side. You can see, there's lots of literature on how these candlesticks are formed, but we do have those scans available, and they do tend to mark sort of those topping patterns there. It's historically how traders are applying them. So those are two price candlestick patterns. Let's move on to at least one engulfing. Let's see, we've got a few on the engulfing, bearish engulfing bars. I picked out a couple. QLYS. I think this one's interesting. So again, you can see still well off of the highs. This is a software name. Kind of made this two-legged measured move higher, and now we are basically we are engulfing to the downside all of yesterday's action. We're a bit overbought coming into today, so you can see basically nice little kind of potential top right there. And the other one I pulled out is ILMN. So again, you can see this healthcare sector still well off of the highs, had this very parabolic sort of float higher here from basically 260 all the way up, about a 35% move in 12 trading sessions. And you can see now we're putting in this bearish engulfing bar, kind of pulling the the air out of the tank, and coming back down to earth. So ILMN, QLYS, those are two bearish engulfing plays. And then we have this big list down here, which is sort of our breakout failure scan, and also a bear pullback scan. So these are stocks that look something like this, IMMR. So these are names that again are kind of in the bear flag sort of pattern. I don't like to call them strictly bear flag patterns because it's not really what they are, but they're essentially looking for a move, a stock that's kind of in an overall downtrend or an intermediate turn downtrend. It's had this nice rally to the upside, and now it looks like it's starting to roll over. So IMMR, that's one of them. PFPT, this is another one here. You can see move to the upside, intermediate term downside, trying to potentially roll back over on today's action. PFPT, same thing, which we just looked at. ECOM, ECOM, you can see move to the upside and starting to roll back over, take out the prior day's lows. KHC, so again, you get this big levitation higher here, and now you've got this outside reversal bar that's getting printed. YEXT, same thing, move to the upside. Now it looks like it's starting to run its course, heavy volume coming in. EXPO, this one here, again, nice move to the upside, intermediate term downtrend, and we're starting to roll back over. This all fits the breakout failure scan, or well, yeah, I guess most of them come from breakout failure scan. Usually there's a decent overlap with our bear pullback scan on the two of these, but both of those all sort of highlighting those stocks we just looked at, all presenting some interesting technical turnaround potential here, especially if you think the market's got more proving to do lower. If it's going to sell off a few more days, some of these stocks here already in sort of downtrends, off of highs, rolling back over, extended to the upside. So lots of good candidates there. On the short side, again, do your homework on all of these. You have to make sure you're position sizing appropriately. You have to know when you're going to get out of these stocks. These are all things that go beyond certainly the scope of this video. So hopefully you found this interesting. Lots of different names there, and lots on the short side. So thanks as always for tuning in and watching. Check the description for links on more information on our scans and IBD's stock lists. Thanks for tuning in. Every Wednesday we do trade ideas just like this. We'll see you back here on Friday for the weekend market analysis video. We'll catch you then.